morning to all present here. I am A Jeevitha, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce General, Women's Christian College, Chennai. I would like to present a small lecture on the topic business law. Now I'm going to present my screen. So this is my topic. Now I'm going to explain what is contract, what is nature of contract, and what are the classification of contract. At the end of this chapter, we come to know what is the significance of law in business and what is contracts and what are the types of contracts and what are the essential elements of contracts. Now, what is law? Basically, this question can arise, what is law? Generally speaking, a law means it is a rules and regulations which each and every person, every citizen are supposed to follow. And we can say it is a principles, legal procedures, and we cannot able to provoke law, and it is basically a regulatory system. So we can combinedly say law means it is a set of rules, and it may be defined as the rule of conduct which is recognized and enforced by our state to regulate the conduct of people, to protect their property and contractual rights with a view to securing justice, peaceful living, and social security. This law of contract is that branch of law which determines the circumstances in which the promises made by the parties to a contract shall be legally binding on them, and especially in business law, is of a particular importance to people who are engaged in trade, commerce, and industry as a bulk of their business transaction are based on contracts. Because as we are studying now as a business law, two or more persons are entering into the law, so that the persons are supposed to follow all the rules and regulations binding on them, and then only it is legally accepted by everyone. You all know that it is a famous thing, Indian Contract Act 1872. What Indian Contract Act 1872 says? This Indian Contract Act 1872 deals with two important things. One is general principles of law governing all contracts, section 1 to 75, and some special contracts only, section 124 to 238. Here we have some two important meanings. What is just in rem? What is just in personam? Just in rem means it is a right against or in respect of a thing. Just in personam means it is a right against or in respect of a specific person. I can give you a special example. We can say if A is a person, he owns a sum of money from B, say for example 5,000 rupees. So A is borrowing 5,000 from B. And A has a special right to get money from B, not C. That is called as personam, which means just in personam means it is a right against or in respect of a specific person. What is just in rem? It is a right against world at large. If I own a property which is located in Tiruvallur district, I have the own right of that particular property. If anybody is, enjoying that property, it is not at all legal thing. So I have the only right. So it means just in rem against the world at large, I have the whole rights to have my property. So there are two important concepts, just in rem and just in personam. Now, the important concept is what is meaning of contract. According to section 2, subsection H of the Indian Contract Act 1872 defines an agreement which is enforceable by law is a contract. What is enforceability? What is agreement? So we are all going to see the about it. A famous person, Palak, defines a contract as every contract and every promises enforceable by law is a contract. So there is a definition, agreement plus enforceability by law is equal to contract. Without agreement or without entering into the contract, there is no contract at all. Here, what is agreement? According to Section 2, subsection E of the Indian Contract Act 1872, every promise or every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. What is the meaning of consideration? Something in return. If I am selling my car to B and B is supposed to give some 5 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees, the valued amount to the car. So I am giving something and I am getting something, that is called as consideration here. So a proposal when accepted, it becomes a promise. And here the formula is offer plus acceptance is equal to agreement. One person is offering and another person is accepting. So when somebody is offering, when someone is accepting, and then only it is called as agreement. Now, a clear meaning of what is enforceability of agreement. So an agreement is said to be enforceable by law if it creates some legal obligation. Obligation means due to written. The parties to an agreement must be bound to perform their promises, and in case of default by either of them must intend to sue. So I told already to the seller that I definitely give 5 lakh rupees to the car. But on the date of time, I'm supposed to disobey the agreement. That time the seller can sue against me because I disregard the contract. What is consensus ad idem? This means the state of mind of the people should be same always. This means that the parties to the agreement must have agreed about the subject matter on the date of agreement on the future date also. So it means the state of mind of the person should be similar in the same sense and at the same time. And what is obligation? The term obligation is defined as a legal tie which imposes upon a definite person or persons the necessity of doing or abstaining from doing a definite act or acts. So something to do, that is called as obligation. So 3 basic things. One is enforceable. Another thing is subject matter of the contract. We have a similar mind in all the stage of contract, and obligation is very important. So here the diagrammatic way of definition defines agreement, legal obligation. It connects the contract. So all agreements are contracts, but all agreements are not contracts. All contracts are agreements, but all agreements are not contracts. Why? Because when the promiser and the promisee is entering into the agreement and fulfill their basic necessities and conditions, then only we can say it is a fulfilled contract. When one person is misuse the contract or taking back the thing, then that is not at all a contract. So this is one important question also. All contracts are agreements, but all agreements are not contracts. Agreement is the first stage of thing, but fulfilling contract is the last stage. One may be entering into the agreement, but not fulfill the thing. So when it is fulfilling, we can say that time the contract is supposed to be over. Now the distinction between contract and agreement. A contract is an agreement which is enforceable by law, but an agreement is every promise or every set of promises forming consideration, something in return. Enforceability, every contract is enforceable, but every promise is not enforceable. Today I can promise, tomorrow I can take it back. Interrelationship, a contract includes an agreement, but an agreement does not include a contract. Validity, only legal agreements are called contracts. An agreement may be both legal and illegal. Some business are legal business and some business are illegal business also. So while we are making the agreement, we should be very careful in the thing. And a legal obligation, every contract contains a legal obligation. But in the agreement side, it is not necessary for every agreement to have a legal obligation. This is very, very important thing. Essential elements of a valid contract. Section 10 defines these are all the essential elements of a valid contract. The first one, minimum of two persons. So if we can take the thing contract means it is a formal thing, at least two persons are supposed to be enter into the contract, and one must be a promiser and another must be a promisee. Offer and acceptance. And the promiser is the offerer and the promisee is the acceptor. So offering, one person is offering, another person is accepting. And the main object of the contract is it should have a legal relationship, not any personal relationship, not any fraudulent relationship. It must have a legal relationship between both the parties. And it should have a legal consideration. Consideration means I already told something in return. If I'm selling car to you, you have to give money to me. Something in return, that is called as consideration and should be lawful. Capacity of parties should be competency. He may not be a minor person or unsound mind person or lunacy or idiotic. Always a majority person, age above 18 years and a sound mind person. These are the persons are capacity to enter into the contract. And free and genuine consent. Always, what is very important is trust in the contract. Not only trust, free and genuine consent. If I am able to buy the car, then only I agree the contract. I have the desire to buy the car, but I don't have money to buy the car. That means I should not enter into the contract. So free and genuine consent is very much important in the contract. And it should have lawful object. Agreement not declared void. Void means it is an end. It is illegal. Void means it is illegal. Agreement not declared void. When both the parties or any of the one party is not fulfilling the satisfactory condition, then we can say it is a void contract. Then certainty and possibility of performance. If there is no possibility of doing the thing, then both the parties are not supposed to enter into the contract. So if there is possibility to enter into the contract without affecting anyone, any citizen or any general public, then we can able to enter into the contract. And it should definitely have legal formalities, like whenever any person enter into the contract, oral or written statement is very, very important. So this is called as legal formalities. So we can summarize here: minimum two persons, offer and acceptance, intention to create legal relationship. It should have a lawful consideration, capacity of parties, free and genuine consent, lawful object, agreement it should not declare it void, certainty and possibility of performance, legal formalities. Now this is the old classification of contract. Now you can able to see one is validity, formation, performance. Under validity, we have 5 important concepts. It should have a valid contract, voidable contract, illegal agreement, and unenforceable thing. Under the formation, express contract, implied contract, quasi-contract, e-contract. Under performance, we have 4 classifications: executed contract, executory contract, unilateral contract, bilateral contract. Now we'll say one by one, what is the contract on the basis of enforceability? So under enforceability, the first thing is valid contract. So valid is a positive thing. When two persons, that means the promiser and the promisee, both the persons enter into the contract and they are fulfilling the basic objectives. And the consideration is also important to the contract, and everything is okay in the contract. They fulfilled each other conditions, then that is called as valid contract. And what is void contract? When it is not enforceable by court of law. Void, illegal, void, rejected. We can say different meanings to void. So either party, one party is not in the correct side of the agreement, he may do some forgery in the contract, then that is called as void contract. What is voidable contract? So valid at the option of one party, but valid, it is not valid at the option of another party, then that is called as voidable contract. And what is illegal contract? And it is void and also forbidden by law. It is not at all accepted. It is not at all accepted as the Indian Contract Act 1872. Some business are not supposed to do in India. If suppose they are doing illegal business, that is contract, that is called as illegal contract. And what is unenforceable contract? Not enforceable by court of law due to some technical error in the contract, which means if they are making any agreement in the written statement, they might be left out some words, some important words. Say, for example, instead of 6 lakh, they might be mentioned 60,000, then that is called as unenforceable contract. Next slide. Types of contract on the basis of formation. Express contract. Expressly, I am telling my thing. Expressly, it is a verbal type of communication through words, through written format. I'm expressing my thing to another person, that is called as expressed contract. Implied contract. When a contract is created by action, non-verbal communication, or it is an implication of law through expressions, through actions. So that is called as implied contract. Oral format. Quasi-contract. A contract is expressed through either words or oral, that is called as quasi-contract. Both the thing, that is called as quasi-contract. E-contract. When the contract is conveying in the method of electronic mode, then that is called as expressed contract. And the contract is based on performance executed when the performance is done by both the parties. Okay, it may be 2 or more persons, and everyone is accepted and everyone is satisfactory in their thing, then that is called as executed contract. Executory contract. When the performance is pending on one side, one or more parties, then that is called as executory contract. The contract is not fulfilled. It half away, it's closed down. That is called as executory contract. Bilateral contract. So bi means 2, unilateral means 1. When the performance is pending on one side, then that is called as unilateral contract. When the performance is pending on both the sides, then that is called as bilateral contract. I hope you all understood. Today is my lecture on the topic, what is contract, what are the basic elements of contract, what is valid contract, what are the classification of contract. I hope you all enjoyed the lecture.